Your landlord's portal is down, rent is due tomorrow, and the old paper checkbook suddenly looks useful. You stamp the envelope after dinner beside tomorrow's coffee mug. By sunrise, that envelope is gone, and Maya does not know it. Her bank account still looks normal, which is the trap while she sleeps nearby. Maya thinks she made a boring payment decision. In reality, she put a complete set of banking instructions into public transit with no tracking and no alarm. But a check is not just paper. It carries bank routing data, account data, a signature, a name, and usually an address printed in plain sight. When that envelope disappears, the loss is not one payment. It is a doorway into the account that funded it for anyone holding the paper. FinCEN reviewed 15,1317 Bank Secrecy Act reports from 841 financial institutions tied to mail theft-related check fraud after its 2023 alert, nationwide in scale. Those reports involved more than $688 million in suspicious activity over just 6 months. That is not nostalgia fraud. That is organized cash extraction flowing through bank alerts. Paper checks are declining, but criminals did not retire with them. They got more efficient, more connected, and more comfortable monetizing stolen mail and online resale markets. FinCEN found 44% of stolen checks were altered and deposited, 26% became counterfeit templates, and 20% were fraudulently signed and deposited in investigations. In plain language, one rent check can become 3 attacks: a washed payment, a copied account, and a forged version of you inside the same week. Maya only knows this because her landlord texts Tuesday morning, rent never arrived, and late fees start at close of business along with her lease clock. The FBI and Postal Inspection Service warned that suspicious activity reports related to check fraud nearly doubled from 2021 through 2023 across the country. The FBI says fraudsters exploit funds availability rules because banks often must release check funds before fraud teams finish tracing the paper trail in many cases. That timing gap matters. A fake deposit can look settled long enough for criminals to withdraw funds before the bank unwinds the transaction into usable cash. First wallet consequence: cash flow. Maya budgeted the rent once. Now she may need replacement funds while the investigation plays out before the weekend arrives. Second consequence: trust paperwork. The bank may ask for affidavits, specimen signatures, account closure forms, and time Maya does not have during business hours. Across all fraud categories, the FTC said consumers reported losing more than $12.5 billion in 2024, up 25% from the prior year. Pause. That number is national. But fraud lands locally in overdraft notices, awkward landlord calls, delayed payroll, and a weekend spent proving innocence on an ordinary checking account. So stop treating the mailbox like a vault. Consider it a transit point, not a storage place for live banking credentials with your rent money. If ACH, a secure portal, card payment, or verified bill pay is available, consider using that before mailing a personal check for large payments. For taxes or government payments, consider official online portals or tracked delivery options when available. The goal is fewer loose checks in open circulation and better records. If you must mail a check, one approach is using a post office lobby slot during collection hours instead of a curbside box when possible. Avoid leaving outgoing checks in a residential mailbox overnight. That red flag is convenient for carriers, but it also advertises opportunity on a quiet street. When mailing is unavoidable, consider making the envelope boring. No cash language, no obvious financial markings, no clues about what is inside to anyone handling it. Use black, indelible ink, fill every blank space, and draw lines after the payee and amount. It may make washing harder without damaging evidence. The FBI and USPIS warned that organized groups target mail to steal checks, alter them, counterfeit them, or sell the stolen information for profit. Now picture Maya's check after theft. The payee line changes, the amount changes, but her account numbers stay exactly where criminals need them during deposit review. Size. The cruel part is the account did nothing wrong. The paper escaped, and the banking system still sees Maya's numbers for future withdrawals, too. If a check clears incorrectly, consider calling your bank immediately. Ask for the fraud department, not just the first available customer service queue for urgent handling. Request a claim number, write down the time, and keep copies of every affidavit, message, and replacement payment confirmation. Documentation may shorten disputes in one folder. Then contact the landlord, tax agency, or payee. Share proof of mailing and bank claim details, and ask about late fee relief in writing if possible. Consider moving unaffected funds to a new protected account only after talking with the bank. Sudden transfers can complicate an active investigation or delay reimbursements. Your bank may recommend closing the compromised account. That can protect future deposits, but it also means rebuilding every autopay attached to it and direct deposits. This is where check fraud becomes a calendar problem. Rent, utilities, insurance, student loans, and payroll deposits all have their own clocks without asking permission first. A stolen check is not just yesterday's payment. It can force tomorrow's bills to collide because one account number became unreliable right when cash is tight. Business owners should ask their bank about positive pay or check verification tools. One approach is matching issued checks before payment clears, before issuing payments. If you manage payroll or vendors, consider separating check writing authority from reconciliation. The person sending payments should not be the only reviewer at month end. Firmly, do not send a check when the recipient can accept a safer electronic method that you can verify, document, and track without strong reason. Bank bill pay may help, but ask how the payment is delivered. Some services send electronic transfers. Others still mail paper checks before you rely. That detail matters. If your bank prints and mails a check, the exposure shifts, but it does not disappear entirely, or maybe not. Before sending a large payment, consider confirming the recipient's preferred method and exact processing timeline. A 2-minute call may prevent a 2-week mess, especially deadlines. USPIS informed delivery may help you monitor incoming mail images, so missing envelopes stand out faster than they would by memory alone at home. If you are traveling, consider hold mail service or a trusted pickup plan. A stuffed mailbox can signal absence and opportunity while away. Review checking activity at least weekly and more often around large mailed payments. Early detection may improve your options with the bank or tax payments. Set transaction alerts for check payments, withdrawals, and balance changes. A fast ping is not prevention, but it can buy reaction time that day. Speed matters because fraud investigations have 2 clocks, the criminal's cash-out clock and your bank's dispute process. You want to start yours first when minutes matter. The FBI warned that criminals exploit the gap between required funds availability and the time banks need to detect altered or counterfeit checks in practice. When you report, use precise language, check number, original payee, expected amount, cleared amount, and when you mailed it. Specifics reduce friction up front. Consider filing reports with the Postal Inspection Service, local police, and the FTC. Your bank may ask for case numbers later as supporting documentation. Do not shrug off a tiny, suspicious check or odd withdrawal. Criminals may test access before attempting a larger account drain without warning. For households with frequent checks, consider keeping a lower operating balance in that account and storing excess cash in a separate linked account each month. That approach may reduce exposure, but coordinate with your bank and advisor if account minimums, fees, or cash needs change the math and practice. Lower voice. The emotional hit is real. People blame themselves even when the weak point was a stolen envelope and an organized network at first. Auto-pay failures can cascade. A closed account may break gym dues, insurance drafts, childcare payments, and subscriptions you forgot you authorized over several weeks. Before closing an account, list every recurring deposit and payment. One practical step is checking the last 2 statements line by line before calling. Maya spends Wednesday calling her employer, insurer, landlord, utility company, and bank. The stolen check has become a part-time job between work meetings. The late fee is annoying. The bigger cost is attention, meetings missed, deadlines squeezed, and decisions made while angry or embarrassed when you needed focus. Older relatives may face higher friction because they still rely on checks for gifts, contractors, medical bills, and church donations. Approach gently, without making assumptions. offered to help set up secure electronic options but keep control with them. Fraud prevention works better when it feels respectful, not forced. Checks persist because they feel familiar. They create a receipt, avoid card fees, and work when a portal is broken. Familiar is not always safer. The decline in check use creates a strange paradox. Fewer checks, but each one can carry more attention from criminals who specialize than before. Think of a check like a house key mailed in a paper sleeve. If it arrives, fine. If it doesn't, locks may change. The smarter frame is not fear. It is payment hygiene, the same way you lock a car even in a quiet neighborhood every single day. Use a 3-part rule: digital default, secure exceptions, fast verification. Simple rules beat heroic cleanup after money has already moved when life gets busy. Digital default means choosing verified electronic rails when fees, records, and recipient legitimacy make sense for your situation. Consider the total cost and timing. Secure exceptions mean if paper is required, mail it carefully, minimize blank spaces, and monitor the account until it clears correctly without delay. Fast verification means checking whether the intended payee received the money, not just whether your bank balance went down. Those are different in real life. Maya eventually gets provisional credit, then a new account. But the rent relationship needed repair, and every automatic payment needed attention for the next month. That is the real lesson. A refund may restore dollars, but it rarely restores the week you spent chasing them or trust. Plain English, this is not financial advice. This content is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Always consult with a qualified financial advisor before making investment decisions. Markets teach this lesson constantly. Prevention is cheaper than repair. Fraud works the same way, only the asset is your financial identity under pressure. If this helped you avoid one stressful bank call, consider following Money Moves Daily. We are here to make money decisions clearer each morning. Today's move: audit one pay menu still mailed by check. If there is a safer route, consider changing it before the next envelope leaves.